Greetings, Japan fans. In today's show, we are going to be looking at some competencies for leaders. How do you rate? Let's find out. Maishu, arigatou gozaimasu, and welcome back to the Leadership Japan series. I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, your corporate coaching and training guide, committed to your success, president of Dale Carnegie Training Japan, best-selling author, Japan Sales Mastery and Japan Business Mastery. We are broadcasting around the world from Minato-ku in the center of Tokyo, the business and leadership capital of Japan. This podcast brings insights, examples, experience about leading in Japan. Trust me, it is different here. Don't forget to rate, 5 stars, review. This is an awesome podcast. Subscribe, make sure you get it every week, and share this podcast with others on iTunes. Now, the daily lineup looks like this on iTunes. Mondays, Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. Tuesdays, Presentations Japan series. Every second Tuesday, the Business Touches in Oshie show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. Every second Thursday, we do the Business Pro Podcast. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery show. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, before we get going, this week's or today's handy Japanese phrase is mochiron. Yeah, of course, sure. Yes, that's it. Mochiron. Sure, that's certain. Mochiron. Yeah, that's for sure. Mochiron. Yeah, of course. Mochiron. 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 Now, of course, this is very useful with friends. Wouldn't probably say that to a client. If they said something, I'd say something like mochiron. That'd be a bit too rude. I would say so desu ne. Sonotori desu ne. Souu koto desu ne. Something like that would be more polite. Well, this is episode number 380. And we are talking about key competencies needed to lead others, part 1. Leading is super easy. You are given the title, the authority, the budget, the power, and then you just tell people what they need to do. How hard can that be? As we know, leading is a snap, but getting others to follow you is a tricky bit. Our awesome power will certainly bludgeon compliance. Sadly, the troops turn off their commitment and engagement switch whenever they come into contact with kryptonite bosses. We get promoted because we personally did a rather good job on our individual tasks. That is a false flag, though, when it comes to being able to communicate, coach, set the direction, and inspire others. Few great athletes become great coaches. It is a totally different skill set. There are 4 broad areas we will focus on to help us become successful leaders. Being self-aware, accountable, others-focused, and strategic. The possibilities are endless, but these 4 areas will serve us well to elevate our thinking about what is required to be a great leader. Under the umbrella of self-awareness, we have 4 focus areas. Self-directed. There is a mental and physical requirement for leadership driven by a strong desire to be successful. We explore inside ourselves to understand what we need to do and why we need to do it. Someone who can only function on the basis of the advice of others is a follower, not a leader. Of course, taking advice is good, but leaders have their own sense of true north and keep moving forward, charting their own course. Self-regulated. Being a self-regulator requires supreme discipline. Knowing what not to do is as important as making action step choices. Shiny objects abound, multiplying like amoeba. But time, money, and resources are limited. Be it business focus or our temper, We need to rein them both in and assert control. Develops self. Constant application of self-improvement sounds obvious, but many leaders are cruising. The more diligent may be doing a good job working in the business, but they are too busy to be working on the business. Is that you? Technology, society, company culture, and organization development overtake some leaders, and ultimately they are ejected from the firm. Where is the locus of self-development to be found? Good question. And there are multiple options. Good choices will have a lasting impact on our longevity as leaders. Find out more when we come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also do custom-made, tailored programs. We do these in-house, we do them online. We do them in our Super Safe classroom, it's at our headquarters. We do them in Japanese, we do them in English. Today's show is sponsored by our Virtual Selling Mastery preview. This is on the 15th of October. The actual course itself will start on the 5th of November and run for 5 weeks, 3 hours at a time. But the preview, the Virtual Selling Mastery course preview, is on October 15th. We're doing that online. Now, on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of October, we are going to run a 3-day Dale Carnegie immersion program. We're going to do that in the Super Safe classroom. That's October 22, 23, 24. Now, our website is at enjapan.dalecarnegie.com. You get more information on those programs there. You can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, we've got over 1,000 at Japan Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We're releasing 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. We've got the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, premier business show on Japan every Monday. Fridays, Japan Business Mastery. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. This is where I interview leaders from SMEs all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Don't forget, get my books, Japan Sales Mastery, and it's the Bible for selling in Japan, and Japan Business Mastery. They are best sellers. Get those on Amazon. Welcome back. Confident. We don't know what we don't know is a big problem. Before you become a leader, there is that misplaced confidence that you know what to do in the role. As you rise through the ranks, you keep making new discoveries. The more you learn, the less you find you really know. Imposter syndrome is a big factor here after we step up into new responsibilities. Constant self-development is the cure for this as we grow into the job. Accountability covers 4 subtopics. Competent. This is often mistaken for technical knowledge or business content cover. The capability within your old job is what thrust you into a leadership role. What about your competency as the leader? What do you really know about leading? How persuasive are you? How well do you understand the aspirations of the team? Can you coach others who are just not like you? Can you set the correct course in a raging sea? This requires study and doesn't happen by osmosis. Honest and having integrity. Are you honest? Would your people agree? Seeing people as cogs in the machine elevating your brilliant career? Jousting with rivals for the next job, using the team resources for that purpose? And being all about me, is often the leader reality. Think about some of your bosses up to this point. The crust On the top of this reality is a false veneer, disguising what is really going on. Subterranean self-interest is often voiced over with pious pronouncements. Being honest is about sincerely wanting to develop the team members, and integrity is what you do or think when no one is observing you. Managers progress towards goals. Obvious, yet are the goals clear to your team? Is there an intelligent plan? Are people engaged and bought in? Are you the pirate captain, simply bellowing out orders and threatening the crew with the plank? Makes effective decisions. When do you know a decision was effective? Certainly never at the time of making it. In that moment, we are working on hope rather than certainty. Are the team convinced of the wisdom of the decision? Was there any input from them? Does our power of personality or position power just crush access to the diversity of opinions available? When it isn't working, are we trapped by pride, ego, and arrogance to keep running faster off the cliff? In part 2, we will investigate being others-focused and strategy for leaders. Thank you for joining the Leadership Chat series. If you found the program useful, then tell your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to rate, 5 stars, review, awesome podcast. Subscribe, make sure you get every week, and share the podcast around with other people who are struggling with their leadership aspects. Now, probably 95% of what I talk about in these programs is not particularly Japan specific. It's probably generic. I know we have listeners from all around the world. And for those in Japan or those who are going to be leading Japanese, then yes, we have sometimes some particular aspect on that. But a lot of this stuff is quite transportable, quite utilitarian, quite universal. Probably if we had this discussion 100 years ago, all of these competencies would have applied just as much as they do today. So they've got that lack of time-bound issue. They're not just topical; they're evergreen. So if you have friends who are leaders, then they might enjoy this podcast too, even though it does have this title, The Leadership Japan series. It isn't just about Japan, I guess. It's probably 5% about Japan and specifics, actually. Anyway, remember, go to our website, ianjapan.dalecarnegie.com, and you can contact me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Until the next episode, take what you thought valuable, put into action, because idea application is what makes winners winners. So be one of them. Remember, I'm your corporate coaching and training guy, committed to your success here in Nippon.